We study billionaires, and this is episode 57 of the Investors Podcast.
Broadcasting from Bel Air, Maryland, this is the Investors Podcast. They'll read the books and summarize the lessons. They'll test the waters and tell you when it's cold. They'll give you actionable investing strategies. Your host, Preston Pish and Stig Broderson.
Hey, how's everybody doing out there? This is Preston Pish, and I'm your host for the Investors Podcast. And as usual, I'm accompanied by my co-host, Stig Broderson, out in Denmark. And I'll tell you, folks, this one here is a really exciting episode for Stig and I because we have one of the most influential investors we've ever interviewed on our show, and that is Jim O'Shaughnessy. And Jim really has quite a background. He's the chairman, CEO, and CIO and senior portfolio manager for O'Shaughnessy Asset Management. And now if you're saying to yourself, Jim, his name sounds familiar, I've heard his last name before, it's all because of the fact that he wrote this book called What Works on Wall Street. And it's one of the best-selling investment books that you'll find on Amazon. I know Stig and I both own copies of this. We also have Toby Carlisle with us, who's the author of Deep Value and Quantitative Value, because Toby is a huge fan of Jim's, along with Stig and I, and we felt like Toby would be one of the great people to bring on the show to help us ask questions for Jim. If you don't know who Jim is, he has been recognized as one of America's leading financial experts and a pioneer in the quantitative stock analysis realm. And he has been called one of the world beaters and statistical gurus by Barron's. In February of 2009, Forbes.com included Jim in a series on legendary investors along with Benjamin Graham, Warren Buffett, Peter Lynch. And to say that he's one of the best in the field is totally an understatement. So, Jim, we are so thrilled to have you on the show, and thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to talk to Stig, myself, and Toby. We just really appreciate it.
I'm delighted to be here. Thanks for having me.
So we want to start off the episode by handing this over to Toby because Toby has become a really well-known author in value investing and just one of the people leading in the investment community with this idea of quantitative value. But Toby has something that he wants to tell you before we start off this episode.
I think to give Jim his due, he might have founded the entire field of quantitative investing. I started out like a lot of guys reading the Graham books, Security Analysis and then Intelligent Investor. And I think as you go along trying to apply some of those rules, you realize how hard value investing really is.